Flag mission. Someone for killing the prince.
Rolling this, that, and the other, and there's enough information to support that, you know, I'm a single father that, you know, has been a pretty stand-up guy in this community and pretty private about that stuff, but it's on both sides. I'll take it all.
Is there anything you regret?
No.
Literally nothing?
Nothing.
That's quite a statement.
You know, I'm not, I'm not into losing, so I would never pick a battle that I'm not going to win, whether it's getting older in life or having regrets or anything else. I'm going to find the good in it all.
How do you feel about being 40?
Great.
You like it, or is part of you like...
I love it.
Why?
Because I can't fight it. And I'm not going to lose. So I'm going to embrace every day, every year, every age, whatever it comes, you know, of... I can look back at everything and find some great things and all that, find some learning experiences, and I'm looking forward to, so I guess the next, however many the good Lord above grants me.
How long do you think you can rock? At what point does it become embarrassing?
Well, I think I'll be able to rock for a while, you know. If you want to talk about the headbanging and, you know, jumping around on stage, I'm sure at some point my body's not going to agree with what my mind wants to do, and I'm ready for that. I've always said it, you know, I'm trying to figure out how to grow old gracefully.
Vanity Fair just came out. It had Justin Bieber as the cover.
What did?
Vanity Fair magazine.
Oh, Vanity Fair.
Vanity Fair. And it had Justin
about to say
Bieber.
What you call me?
I wasn't insulting you, trust me. I've read the stories. But Vanity Fair came out, had Justin Bieber as its cover, and they're sort of building him up as the kind of new face of music. What do you feel about that?
Well, there's always a Justin Bieber. Ever since I've been around, there's always been one of him, you know. You can trace it back from however old you are and the boy bands that came along then and the teen sensations and whatnot, and, you know, good for them. There's a few of them that make it out and a few of them that don't. There's a funny story, though. I just met that kid at the American Music Awards not too long ago. He came up to me and said, "Hey, Kid Rock, what's up?" I was like, "Hey, Justin Bieber, what's up, buddy?" He said, "Man, I got your old tour bus." I was like, "Really? Hope you had it sanitized." I don't know if he quite understood what I was talking about, but...
What did he say?
He just kind of chuckled, man. He's a nice enough kid.
Do you think there's room for everyone in music?
Yeah, sure there is. You know, the thing I wish with music is that there's room for everyone, but it comes to a ploy with everything in life where people take advantage of situations. And with people like, in his realm, whatever you want to call it, that, you know... You wish, and what I've heard, the kid's kind of talented. I don't know. I can't confirm it because I've never paid attention that hard. But if somebody's talented and they're working, I think that's great because it influences other kids, you know, what's good in music and to keep, you know, digging into things that are good in life and not just something that's marketable. You know, I always say if it looks good, you'll see it. If it sounds good, you'll hear it. If it's marketed right, you'll buy it. But if it's real, you'll feel it. And I think that's the most important thing, and just want to make sure kids are getting some of that feeling so they can kind of make, you know, good choices in everything in life.
What do you think? We're in the era of brands now in all aspects of entertainment.
You're telling me.
Yeah, I mean, but you are a pretty strong brand, but it's a brand that relies, you know, on you continuing to be Kid Rock in all its guises.
No, it's a brand that relies on, you know, doing what I say and saying what I mean, and the brand's right here. It's in my heart. When I endorse a product like Jim Beam, it's because I've been singing about Jim Beam before they even approached me. You know, when I make beer, it's because I know about beer. I like beer.
How would you describe your brand? What is it?
It's honest. It's real.
And do you believe you are? Well, I mean it's a statement to say that your brand is honesty, isn't it? Are you completely honest? Have you ever been dishonest?
Well, I'm sure I've been dishonest at times, but... you know, that might be for a reason of somebody maybe going to be real hurt about something that's just unnecessary. But I'd say for the most part, yes, I'm 100% honest.
What else do you stand for, do you think?
Geez, where do you want to start?
Wherever you want to start.
I stand for being proud of who you are, your heritage, where you come from, your country, and just things you believe in everyday goodness in life. And all those things don't have to be, you know, white and black. There can be a middle ground somewhere, you know, and I think that's where I lie in most things, just in the middle, right down the middle.
I mean, you are a fighter in all senses.
I stand up for what I believe in.
And you're not afraid to defend yourself, if need be.
I get a little nervous and get a little scared like everybody, but when push comes to shove, no, I'm trying to, you know, I have completed anger management twice.
Have you?
With flying colors.
What are they like, those courses? I've always wondered.
Well, you know, that was the first time I went, and this lady, Miss Nedra in Detroit, that I went and talked with, very nice older black woman, and she'd been through a lot, told me her story, and we were talking, and we filled out a little questionnaire, and she was like, baby, she's like, you just don't strike me as somebody who's angry. And I said, well, Miss Nedra, I think there's been a mix-up with the sentencing from the judge. I go, rather than, you know, anger management, I think I should have been sentenced to AA. I was like, I definitely have a drinking problem. I said, I don't know about an anger problem, but, you know, whenever the drinking is going on real strong, that seems to be when the problems occur.
I mean, are you only ever violent when you've been drinking?
I mean, I'd say that's been the stupid stuff, you know, the fights in Waffle Houses and, you know, different things like that. But, you know, if it's something I believe in, if I'm, you know, standing up for a family member or somebody that maybe can't defend themselves over something that's just plain wrong, you know, then no.
Well, you're sober now, right? What would it take for me to push you over the edge? Could I actually be in fear of a right hook?
No, not at all.
So you can control it when you're in this environment?
Yeah.
But if we were in a bar...
This is a pretty safe environment, by the way.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
Where we have like the Ritz-Carlton with bright lights and cameras.
Yeah, but I
don't feel that threatening.
When does the red mist, though, descend for you, do you think? When do you feel it descending?
I don't know. It's just, you know, I guess I'm a little bit too self-righteous at times. And there's certain things I believe, you know. Sometimes I've gotten into trouble for defending friends over dumb things or defending a woman's honor, this, that, and the other. Things I do believe and I think are right, but at the time, now when I look back at them, I know they could have been handled a different way.
But you don't regret smacking Tommy Lee, do you?
No.
He deserved it?
Yes.
Waffle House guy, did he deserve what came his way?
Absolutely.
So you don't actually regret those things, even though you've got angry and got violent. You think it's justified?
Could we rewind the tape to no regrets? No, you know, I felt they were justified. Yeah, I mean, I went to court for several of those things and sat, and, you know, I could have, you know, paid somebody off 20, 50 grand, whatever it is, and I sat in court and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars just to defend, again, what I think is right, you know, to go after these scum-sucking attorneys, you know, these ambulance chasers who are out there, you know, that see me as a payday. And I'd rather just spend the money and stand up for what I believe in.
Coming up later, I would argue that Pamela Anderson changed your life massively for the better.
New inventory. New equipment. New trucks. New hires. New space. New markets. Achievement seizes new opportunity. Go to pnc.com/CFO to see how we can help your cash flow situation. PNC, for the achiever in us all.
Lawn gnomes, bird baths, and the competition are officially on notice. Introducing Craftsman Turn-Tight Tractors, a best-in-class 8-inch turning radius, 30% tighter than any other tractor. Craftsman, trust in your hands.
For performance, upgrade to Castrol Edge Advanced Synthetic Oil. It outperforms in the world's toughest industry tests. Castrol Edge. It's more than just oil. It's liquid engineering.
Our points from Chase Sapphire Preferred are worth 25% more on travel.
We're like, forget Florida. We're going on safari.
So we're on the Serengeti, and Seth finds a really big bone.
We're talking huge.
They dig it up, put it in the Natural History Museum, and we get to name it.
Sethosaurus.
Really? Your points from Chase Sapphire Preferred are worth 25% more on travel?
Means better vacations.
That's incredible.
Believe it. With Chase Sapphire Preferred, your points are worth 25% more on travel when booked through Ultimate Rewards.
The future of mobile computing starts now. The new Motorola Xoom, powered by the latest Android technology with lightning-fast performance. It's everything the tablet should be.
Life is full of little twists and turns. ING can help you take the right steps along the way. The first step is finding your number, the amount you need to save to retire the way you want while protecting the ones you love. Learn more at ing.com/US.
In the Jamaica you know and love, nothing really changes. Except, of course, the hearts and souls of those who visit Jamaica. Once you go, you know.
Here's a contradiction with you, which I find fascinating. On the one hand, you're this wild rocker, not afraid to defend himself with his fists if need be. You've admitted you've...
Not that violent.
I'm not saying you are, but you say you maybe have a bit of a drink problem. It's all the classic kind of signs of a big rock star. And yet, there's this whole different side to you, which I find fascinating, that when you go home from these wild tours and you shut the door, you're this extraordinary character who's a single parent. You brought up this boy that you got custody of. He's turned out to be a delightful young man. You are a sort of standard bearer for Detroit. You know, you fought the fight for them in many ways. And you have this great integrity about you in both those things, which is in complete contrast to the way that you are perhaps on stage.
Well, I don't know about on stage. I think it's, you know, the off-stage antics that get captured by the cameras, and I don't really run from them. I'm pretty whatever. I'm not going to let a camera ruin my, you know, rain on my parade. So that's a lot of what people see. That's the information that's out there. You know, my home life's always been pretty private, and probably till the last year when I've let a few people into my house and kind of see, you know, after watching so many programs and so many people who are kind of, I guess, grouped into my stereotypical category, to say, no, there's another way to do it, and I think I've been doing that way and doing it pretty well. So I've kind of let people, now that my son's older, and I know he's a man now and equipped with the tools to deal with it. So
how old is he now?
17.
So 17. I've got a 17-year-old son, so they're not the easiest when they get to that age. But you've done an extraordinary job with him. I mean, you brought this boy up.
Well, I gotta, you know, stop you there and say, you know, yes, he's my son, and I have, I believe, done a lot of the right things, and mainly, I think the biggest thing I've done is realize the old saying that, you know, it takes a village to raise a child. And I've had great family, great godparents. I mean, everybody around me's family, and I live in a very small town in northern Michigan where there's no sunshine for 4 or 5 months out of the year. There's no pretty girls running around in bikinis or any of that stuff, you know, no palm trees. And look at, you know, I've wondered several times while I'm living there, like, what the hell am I doing? I'm like, you know, I could be up in the hills in Hollywood or anywhere I want in the world. You know, I've worked hard and saved some money. And now when I look back on it, I'm like, no, I did the right thing, because I look at my son and I realize that a lot of that, the community that he's from, that's the only place that really matters to me, of what people think of me, is my community where I live. That matters to me, what people think of me there. Other than that, I can't, you know, go after and try to, you know, convince people that I'm this or that all around the world. I don't have the time or the energy. There's too much fun to have in life. But where I live, it's important.
How do you think your relationship with your son has been dictated by the relationship you had with your father? How have you been different as a father, do you think?
Well, I never really paddled him that much.
But that's interesting. I mean, have you never smacked your son?
Oh, no, he got a few. He got a few on the hand when he was young. I'd snapped the belt a few times, but
nothing like you got.
No, I think actually his grandfather was the one that actually got him when he got older, a little bit harder, the one that got me. But, you know, looking back on it too, it's one of those things where it's just different times. You know, my mother used to send me to school with a note pinned on me in grade school that said, you have permission to spank Bobby if he gets out of line. And,
really?
Yeah. Those times just, you know, I guess I'm getting old now telling these stories.
But what kind of dad do you think you've been?
I think I've been a good dad. I'm positive he'd tell you the same. I'm as proud as I am of him. I think he's as proud of me. And we're not friends. As good of buddies as we are, we're not friends. I'm his father still. And I've always tried to make that clear line in there. That as easy it would have been for me at times when someone else has to discipline him when I'm on the road, whether it's grandma, his aunt, his godparents, the cleaning lady, whoever, that I've always been the one to step in, you know, and lay the finger down and let him know, you know, I'm your father, and, you know, this is this law of the land right here under this roof. But at the same time, you know, we are very close.
What do you think the law of the land should be for your son?
Show respect to the people around you, especially have a little respect for as much as I'm gone. And I've tried to adjust my schedule to be home. That's just not the way it is. And and try to think about some things too, that how fortunate we are to have the things we have. And while there's other people that are gone from their homes, i.e. military members, people in business that travel a lot, that's just the way it is for a lot of kids. And, you know, and when there's a few times in his life that, you know, oh, this stinks, you know, that you're famous and I got to read about your antics in the paper and get teased at school, and I'm like, it's a pretty nice bed you got upstairs. Like, you know what I mean? There's a pretty nice car we drive to school every day. Like, calm down.
If he started taking drugs and stuff, would you be censorious about that?
Well, you know, he actually attended Malibu High School for like 1 month, and it was a total culture shock to him. And I picked him up the first day of school, you know, small town, rural Michigan, Malibu High School. And I picked him up the first day of school, and he said, I said, how was school today? He was like, he started to get that huff and puff. He said, it sucked. He said, all these kids here do is ride skateboards and do drugs. I looked at him and said, hey, stay off them skateboards.
When we come back.
And I wish I could have had a conversation with, like, LeBron James, you know, just to say, like, you know, what don't you understand about winning?
When it's done, believe that I will yell it from that mountain high.
To the 5 a.m. scholar, the 2 trains and a bus rider, the I'll sleep when it's done academic. For 80 years, we've been inspired by you, and we've been honored to walk with you, to help you get where you want to be. Because your moment is now. Let nothing stand in your way.
Everywhere you look, freight trains are part of the economy. By getting goods to market efficiently, CSX is helping move the economy forward. CSX, how tomorrow moves.
What brought you to eHarmony?
They said, hey, here are some gentlemen that meet your core values. Take a look at them. When I found Adam, it was just boom.
Review your matches free at eHarmony.com.
Nobody really likes to travel that much for work.
5-hour plane travel, followed by getting to the actual meeting.
Put meetings in their place with GoToMeeting. With one click, GoToMeeting lets you hold online meetings from anywhere. Hold unlimited online meetings with integrated phone and VoIP conferencing.
I saved a day's worth of travel, probably $1,000 worth of expenses. It's one of those tools we can't live without.
Try GoToMeeting free today. Visit GoToMeeting.com and use the promo code TV.
Who's Anderson keeping honest tonight?
We're not trying to twist anyone's words. We're simply trying to get some basic questions answered.
Keeping them honest every night. AC 360.
The nice thing about the Tempur-Pedic is no matter which position I'm in, I wake up feeling good.
It fits you so perfectly. It fits you.
And you wake up and you're so revived and you're rejuvenated. It's just like, wow.
Tempur-Pedic, the most highly recommended bed in America. Tempur-Pedic is rated #1 in comfort, sleep satisfaction, and back support.
It fits the curvature of your body, but you don't sink in, and it is firm.
Proprietary Tempur material suppresses motion transfer. This means that when you get in or out of bed, you won't disturb your partner.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Tempur-Pedic, the most highly recommended bed in America.
Call 1-800-376-9977 for your free information kit or visit TempurPedic.com. Act now and take advantage of our 90-night in-home tryout. 6-month zero-interest financing plan, 20-year limited warranty. Call 1-800-376-9977.
Murder in Mexico. What happened at Falcon Lake? CNN Sunday night, 8 Eastern.
They're shutting Detroit down.
It's got to get cleaned up. You know, they got to bring, we almost need an angel.
Cause this is my hometown.
I want to talk to you about Detroit, because obviously this is your heartland. It's become musically and I think spiritually for you rather like New Jersey for Bruce Springsteen. That important. Why is it so important to you? What does it mean to you?
It's where I'm from. It's where my family is, where my roots are. I don't know how to say it any more than that. You know, I'm very proud of where I come from, and at every level. I wish I had a better answer for you, but that's really the heart of it.
When you sing about Detroit, what's going through your mind? You sing with great passion and eloquence about it.
You know, everything I've done in my career has started in and around Detroit, you know, the metro area, Michigan. And, you know, I always say this is my house, but it was built by a lot of hands. And a lot of those hands were right there from day one. Anything I've done, the first records I sold, the first time I started to sell, you know, an arena out, it was all there. Stadium was right there. You know, any companies I've started, and you know, and I've had a lot of friends on both sides of the suburbs and the city, and you know, it's always seemed like the politicians were the ones that were at each other's throats. You know, the black politicians are like, oh, the rich suburbs are messing everything up, and the rich suburbs are like, oh. With the people and the kids my age. So, you know, once I started to get successful, I saw an opportunity just to try to help people out. I always believe in helping your neighbor first. I understand, and there's opportunities that come up all over the world that I try to help out in, but that's just writing a check.
Yeah, but it's actually more than that, because I checked out a few of these things. You read about a pizza delivery boy in Ohio who'd been robbed of $15, and when you heard that he lived with his mum, was trying to work his way through college, you pay for that for a year. That's not just handing out a check. I mean, that's taking a vested interest in that boy's future. You know, another story in Florida, you had a guy, his American flag kept being stolen from his porch, and you read about this, so you bought him a 30-foot tent pole. Now, you know, I love these kind of stories because they are different to the average rock star. People don't do that.
Well, I mean, it's also, I look at that as a community that I'm in at the time. I go into these markets and I take out dollars, and people spend their hard-earned money to come see me, so you know, it just dawned on me years back, and something I just kind of did anonymously, and I conflict about that. And I believe if we talk about it now, that might inspire people to do good things, but at the same time, I don't like to put on a flag and wave it around. But since you brought it up, it's, you know, I feel like I'm taking dollars out of these markets, and I read the paper, and I'm just like, is there something in this paper, some little story that I can just help somebody out?
How often do you do that?
Often as I can. Believe it or not, there's some cities you go to sometimes, and there's no bad story like that. You know, there's not an opportunity to touch somebody directly. You know, there's always a national story, something that's bad, this, that, and the other, something going on in the world. But I mean, right there in that community, there's not always one, but I do as often as I can. I mean, it's kind of fun. As tragic as it sounds, it's kind of fun, you know, to do something good for somebody when you're able to. It's just...
Detroit, obviously, is the center of the car industry and has been decimated through the recession. And you've seen that at first hand when you've gone back. How bad has it been, do you think, in reality in Detroit? And where is it now?
Well, I mean, when it really started hitting, you know, Detroit's been devastated for a lot of years, and it's been going that way. When you just look at the population decrease since, basically since the '67 riots, you know, losing over 1 million people since then, you know, it's just absolutely devastated the city at every level. And then when it started to creep to the suburbs, when the auto industries, and now it's hitting the white collars, and you're seeing all the foreclosures in your friends' homes, and they're scared to even say anything to you, probably embarrassed, I guess. And you'd look at the foreclosure sign go off, and then they're gone, and you know, can't take their kids here, and this, that, and the other. And nowadays, I see the people in Detroit are they're like a lot of cities, but they're very proud to be from there, and they really want to see change, and they really want to see good things happen.
You prefer being quite a big fish in a small pond, relatively, like
sure.
Detroit, and being just one of a cast of thousands, like here in LA, for example.
Yeah, I mean, I get treated beyond belief there. And I mean, I give a lot of love to where I'm from, and they give me a lot of love back. And there's nothing on earth. You know, I wish I could have had a conversation with like LeBron James, who I consider, you know, an acquaintance. I've met him several times. I'd say he's a friend. You know, just to say like, you know, what don't you understand about winning? You've already won. You're from Akron. You know what I mean? You play for Cleveland. Just by saying I'm going to stay in my hometown, support my community, you could go anywhere in the world you want. Take your private jet, go anywhere, but you are literally a king there. And that's how I feel in Detroit. And no one could ever take that from me. That love, there's nothing like being loved in your life.
You couldn't do a LeBron and switch allegiance to another city?
Never.
You can't be bought, can you?
No. No, that's why I try to make a lot of money. But one thing I'm most proud of is I've never made an unhonest dollar off a working man's back, ever. And I can hold my head up and walk anywhere in the world knowing that. I don't have to drive around in a tinted down Rolls Royce and get out and run to hotels and hide from people. You know, I'm very proud of that, but I do want to make a lot of money. I want to make it honestly, but I want to make a lot because that kind of sets you free in a weird way, where you can tell somebody. Because, when they're coming at us, this, that, and the other, we're going to pay you this. I'm like, well, you're not treating people right. I've walked away from shows. We're not treating the crew people right, and they're not. They don't have dressing rooms for the girls, and just some water, stuff like this. And they think you ought to be privileged to be on the show. I'm like, go f yourself. I'm going home. Have a fun show.
And money brings you that power, doesn't it?
Kind of does, yeah.
Did you ever feel guilty about the money that you had? When you go back to Detroit and you see so many people jobless and having no money, do you feel guilty, or do you feel you put enough back into that city?
Well, it's a weird thing. Sometimes it is a weird thing to to have so much and see other people with so little. And then, you try to figure out, well, how can I divvy it up between the people I love that don't? And it comes to this point where, like, you got to give people the tools. Like, I have this policy, I won't loan people money anymore. But I've had several friends where they're like, I found, I'm an electrician. I'm like, why don't you learn how to become a master electrician? What do you need to do that? I'll pay for it.
What's the most extravagant thing you've ever bought?
I think an original 1930 Cadillac.
How much was that?
It was just under $500,000. But but also it's a piece of not only American history, it's a piece of Detroit history.
And your dad used to make American cars.
Yeah, he worked in the steel mills and, had plenty of family members on the line. My dad sold cars, built his own dealership from scratch, put himself through school and everything else. And it's not only an investment, by the way, it's not going to lose money, but it's something that, is really a piece of American and Detroit history. We could sit and crack beers and smoke cigars and just go, look at this ingenuity on this thing, the first V16 ever built. And it really inspires me.
Coming up, Kid Rock, the all-American patriot.
We're on a plane with human remains and there's an American flag draped over a casket that you're flying with. It really sparks up some things and really makes you think.
Close to my destination, tired, frail and aching.
The markets never stop moving. Of course, neither do I.
Solution? TD Ameritrade Mobile.
I can enter trades on the run.
Even futures and Forex.
Complex options, done. The market shifts, I get an alert. Thank you. Live streaming audio.
Advanced charts.
Look at that. All right here. Wherever here happens to be.
Mobile trading from TD Ameritrade. #1 in online equity trades.
Trade commission free for 30 days. Plus, get up to $500 when you open an account.
An everyday moment can turn romantic anytime. And when it does, men with erectile dysfunction can be more confident in their ability to be ready with Cialis for daily use. Cialis for daily use is a clinically proven low-dose tablet you take every day, so you can be ready anytime the moment's right.
Tell your doctor about your medical condition and all medications, and ask if you're healthy enough for sexual activity.
Don't take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure.
Do not drink alcohol in excess with Cialis. Side effects may include headache, upset stomach, delayed backache, or muscle ache. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease or loss in hearing or vision, stop taking Cialis and call your doctor right away.
Ask your doctor if Cialis for daily use is right for you. For a 30-tablet free trial offer, go to Cialis.com.
And here's where the diet stuff happens. Like the other stuff, Diet Snapple has healthy stuff. And tasty stuff. We just took out the calories and stuff.
So who comes up with this stuff?
I do. Ooh. Now who wants some free stuff? Me.
Snapple, the best diet stuff on earth.
Nationwide Insurance, talk to me.
Should I bundle all my policies with Nationwide Insurance?
Watch this. On one hand, you have your home insurance with one company, and on another hand, you have your auto with another. And on another hand, you have your life with another. But when you bundle them all together with Nationwide Insurance, they all work together perfectly, and you could save 25%. Wow. On the wrist.
Nationwide is on your side.
Simon Cowell gives me one of the most revealing interviews of his life. When do you think you'll give up judging?
Piers Morgan, CNN Monday night, 9 Eastern.
I'm Jillian Michaels, TV's toughest trainer. And now you can burn 5 times the calories working out around the world with me. Introducing the new Nordic Track Incline Trainer. The ultimate weight loss machine just got better. iFit Live, powered by Google, brings the world to your feet. Walk on the Golden Gate Bridge. Run on the beaches of Hawaii. Hike the Rocky Mountains. The new design of the incline trainer automatically inclines to 40% and declines to 6% to simulate the world's terrain, so you burn 5 times the calories. No other machine does that. And all you have to do is walk. Plus, with the innovation of iFit Live, I'll control the speed and the incline of your workout so you get results. Guaranteed.
Call or go online to order your new Nordic Track X7i.
Get this experience, the best trainer, and I guarantee you'll get amazing results.
For more information, call 1-800-498-1665 or go online to NordicTrack.com.
Unwelcome, the Muslims next door. CNN Sunday, March 27.
To see, something back home, pretty much made the week, probably the point.
For my time with no regrets.
It was very enthusiastic. It makes you realize that famous people like Kid Rock really care about, ordinary soldiers.
Frail and aching, waiting patiently for the sun to set.
You're obviously a very well-known patriot. You fly a lot to Afghanistan and Iraq to play for the troops. It means a lot to you, that. Are you a traditional Republican?
No.
Because you seem sort of complicated politically. You're not either one or the other, really.
No.
You're more for your country than you are for a party.
I think I'm like the majority of people who are tired of we don't want a bunch of Bible thumpers running the country, and we don't want a bunch of pot-smoking hippies running it. There's a middle ground there. I think that most of us around the world are. We're like, hey, chill out, man. Let's just try to, figure this out and give people the opportunities and the tools to, what we say, live the American dream. And I know there's some things wrong on both sides. Now I would sway, belief-wise, more Republican and less government and creating opportunity. If you had to strictly say one of those, yes, I would sway a little bit more that way, but then I would sway left on other issues.
Do you think the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq have been just wars?
That's tough to say, because when you get into politics, I know this much. I don't study political science, and I didn't do that well in school.
But forget the politics. I mean, are we winning these wars from what you've seen on the ground?
I believe we need to have a presence there. It's kind of like somebody keep an eye on the bully around town. If you let him free, he's going to work up a scheme and a scam and going to get you. And I think we need to be over their spot. I think we need to be doing a lot of things that we don't need to know about. Things that people don't need to see. They just need to pay their taxes and understand they live in, if you're born free somewhere, born free somewhere, that's such a great thing by the grace of God, just to be born free. And there are reasons why you are free. You pay your taxes, and people go out and do things to protect you, to make sure you can sleep at night, and not have to worry about, planes flying over and dropping bombs and terrorist attacks, every other day, and this, that, and the other. So I think it's a necessary evil, and I don't know if we're doing it exactly right, because I don't know everything about it, even though I've been there several times. My thing is to go entertain the troops. I've had conversations with them, and the majority of the guys tell me they believe in their country, and they're very patriotic. That's why they're there.
But that's not quite the same as believing that these wars are just, is it? You can support the troops. I mean, my brother's just done a tour of Afghanistan.
Well, yeah,
and it's difficult, I think, if you look at it, are we winning? You think from what you've seen there?
We're on a plane with human remains, and there's an American flag draped over a casket that you're flying with. It really sparks up some things and really makes you think. And at that point, no. At that point, you say, no, this isn't worth it at all. And then, you start to analyze it and look through history, and there's a lot more people that have died to not only make our country free, but to make a lot of countries free around the world, to help out a lot of countries, to do a lot of good things. So, war's never a good thing, but I do think it's necessary.
When you travel around Europe and Asia and other countries outside of America, not many Americans do, still. When you do, what do you think the perception of your country is?
Misunderstood. We took a lot of flack, and maybe some of it just for the Iraq War. And, a lot of things that Bush did. And I wasn't in Bush's shoes, so I don't know what that was like. And they kind of look down, but I think they forget, and that's what kind of sometimes gets me a little angry, is people forget, like, first time there's a natural disaster anywhere in the world, who's the first people to send money? And those are our tax dollars. when a tragedy happens somewhere, somebody invades another country, who goes first? Those are our guys and girls who go in there and die. And it's been for a lot of years. And, you know, it's nice, you know, when you go to Kuwait, for instance, you go to Kuwait and those people are, when you're American, they're like, thank you, thank you. You know, in one sense, in the early 90s, we did save their country from being attacked and overtaken by Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein was a bad man. Needed to be taken out. Now, I believe we probably could have taken him out a little bit better than, you know, devastating this country, going in and do what we did. But what do I know? I sing rock and roll songs. That's just my beliefs, and usually I share these beliefs just through family and friends, not with you and the whole world.
I find it very interesting, because you're not a stereotypical Republican or Democrat. You're coming at it more from a position of being an American. I mean, what does being an American mean to you?
Having the freedom to do whatever you want, you know, without taking advantage. The problem in America, and I think all over the world, has become people take advantage of things. But to be American to me means have the freedom to choose and be who you want to be, and to have a shot at that American dream, which is whatever that wanted to be, whether it's getting a good job or raising a family, getting a piece of land, you know, just being free. Just the ultimate sense of being free, more free than anywhere else in the world.
Do you feel that the American dream is still what it used to be?
I don't know. Sometimes I shake a finger at those baby boomers, you know, and wonder if they did some damage there. Yeah, I've talked to my dad about this to several people. I think the dream is still there. I think it's a little more difficult nowadays. But I also think there's plenty of new opportunities being created with the internet and all this other technology things that are coming out. I think it's always going to be there as long as, you know, every once in a while, you know, when you're driving fast, you're going to stray off the course a little bit. Jerk the wheel and get back on it. And I think we're just jerking the wheel right now and trying to get back on it.
Next is the question that I just had to ask. So you've declared several times in this interview that you have no regrets. I'd like to offer one suggestion: your marriage to Pamela Anderson.
Revolutionary technology, driven by precision. Technicians as advanced as the vehicles they service. And now get all of this expertise at a price that may surprise you. Like Durastop ceramic brake pads installed for only $74.95 or less per axle after mail-in rebate. Not just service, certified service. Only at your Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, and Cadillac dealer.
This is not a prescription. This is Mary, who has a million things to pick up each month, on top of her prescriptions. So she was thrilled that her Walgreens pharmacist recommended a 3-month supply and would always be there to answer questions about her health. Now, Mary gets 3 refills in one, and for 3 months, she's done. More or less. Ask your pharmacist about a 90-day supply and get a free gift. Walgreens, there's a way to stay well.
The scale for the world's most important projects. The risk engineering solutions for technically complex projects. The efficient claim services to help even the most specialized companies. Providing insurance solutions businesses need. Zurich Help Point. Help when it matters most.
Keeping them honest tonight on 360. Time has run out in Libya for the opposition in the city of Zawiya. The city has fallen. We'll speak with the first reporter into the city after the battle. While opposition forces absorb blow after blow in city after city, there are those in a position to help NATO, suggesting there isn't yet a good reason to act, saying there must be a, quote, demonstrable need. The opposition battling street by street, block by block to hold on to Misrata would argue this is demonstrable need. This video just into CNN. More at the top of the hour. We'll show you how militarily a no-fly zone could be implemented, talk to our reporters on the ground, and hear from a doctor on the Eastern Front who says his clinic was the target of attacks today. Those stories and the latest from Wisconsin tonight at the top of the hour. More Piers Morgan tonight in a moment.
One line helps communities turn plans into reality. Helps shippers forge a path to prosperity. Helps workers get back to work. One line is an engine for the economy and the future. Norfolk Southern. One line Infinite possibilities.
We got ADT because I walked in on a burglary once. The physical damage was pretty bad. The emotional toll was even worse. Our daughter had nightmares. What that robber really took from us was our peace of mind. With ADT, we got it back.
Every 14.3 seconds, a burglary takes place in the United States. Help protect your family with a fast alarm response of ADT. A single ADT system can help protect you from burglary, fire, and high levels of carbon monoxide. When an alarm is received, ADT can call the local authorities for help. And you get this monitored protection, plus great local service, all for about $1 a day. And only ADT offers a theft protection guarantee.
Take it from me. The time to think about a security system isn't after something bad happens. It's before.
Call now and get ADT's Essentials Plus security system installed for $99, including a keychain remote. ADT, always there.
They're the people of the moment. Piers gets them to tell their story.
Say whatever you want to say.
I didn't bring any craziness. This is the way I won love and acceptance from my parents.
He would have been so proud. And when the moment becomes history, Piers gets you the whole story.
What is Colonel Gaddafi capable of?
Piers Morgan tonight, CNN 9 Eastern.
So you've declared several times in this interview that you have no regrets. I'd like to offer one suggestion. Your marriage to Pamela Anderson.
I regret that.
Really?
No.
Wasn't it like this crazy...
A blast.
Was it a blast?
What do you mean was it a blast? What, do you live in a cave?
I've actually interviewed your ex-wife.
I'm not going to get into the discussions of her have been covered throughout the years it's over, but I will tell you this one if you say it yet. You know, getting married is some of the most fun I've ever had in my life. I mean, I don't know a time that I've had more fun than getting married. We loved it so much we got married like 4 or 5 times. It was that much fun. Now, on the flip side, being married sucks.
Well, being married to Pamela Anderson probably sucks. She's a crazy, crazy chick, right?
I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to get into it. I mean, I've discussed it. It was part of my life. We moved on. You know, it's done.
I mean, see, I would argue.
But I don't know. I don't knock you for taking a shot. You're not the first one.
Well,
or
of
the
course,
last.
and I know you hate talking about it. But you see, here's where I come.
I don't hate talking about it. I've just covered it. It's kind of a dead
I get
horse.
it. But here's what I don't think you have covered, which is that I would argue that Pamela Anderson changed your life massively for the better, in the sense that you learned a lot about yourself in that period, that crazy period. And I think from your own admission, you came out a different guy, a better guy.
Well, who are you going to argue about that with?
You? Am I right?
I'm not taking debate.
Am I right, do you think? You can't even say that? Come on.
Can't even say that.
But you learned lessons, didn't you?
I've learned lessons all through life. Taught a couple, too.
Does it put you off marriage?
What's that?
Would you get married again?
Now, would I get married again? Right now, I'd say no. But I've learned to never say no.
Is there anyone special in your life?
Yes.
You want to elaborate?
Nope.
I mean,
I've learned, you know what happens with that is you put these people out there, somebody you're with, and you declare your love for them and everything, and then the press gets interested, and sometimes it destroys somebody else's life. What if that doesn't work out for that other person? I've learned. You know what I mean? And this is somebody who's not a celebrity, this, that, and the other. You know, it can really be a tough thing to deal with, you know, for somebody on the other side. So I'm thinking of somebody else, you know, trying not to be so selfish and saying, you know what, and try to talk to that person, be like, it's better in the end. You know, whatever's going to be is going to be. And if for some reason, you know, things go one way or the other, at least you're protected.
I mean, you like women. You've always liked women. I mean, you love women, right?
I got no problem with women.
Could you imagine genuinely settling down with one woman for the rest of your life? Do you think that's in your makeup?
Yeah, I think that's always been in my makeup. But it hasn't always been, you know, the opportunity that's afforded me that.
Yeah, but isn't it more the temptation when you're on the road? It's just outrageous, isn't it?
Chris Rock said that years ago in his comedy bit, and it's freaking so true, you know? You're only as faithful as your options.
How many options do you get in an average tour?
Ever been to Baskin Robbins?
And do you like that? Would you still get the same buzz out of it you do when you were...
It was a lot of fun when I was, you know, I was not the prettiest kid. I mean, look at me. It's just...
No, you got lucky.
Totally. I mean, you know, I wanted to pick up a guitar and play rock and roll so I could, you know, get a new car and a hot girl. I never expect all the other stuff to be happening and to be, you know, involved in charities and playing with the troops and touching people's lives and everything else. It's been, you know, hanging out in the White House, this, that, and the other, just mind-blowing events. Like, not at all, but you know, it's pretty cool.
Has it been all you hoped it would be?
Yeah.
And do you like being famous?
Yes.
But what are the best things about fame, do you think?
The best things about fame, well, the money don't suck. Let's start there.
How much have you made?
A lot.
Did you know how much you made?
It's none of your business. I'd care for you to stay out of my personal affairs.
You're getting quite good at that.
I've done well. My sister just told me the other day we got a new accountant. She was like, they called and they were like, we had no idea. Like, you know,
well, how rich you are.
I guess you could say that, but I don't know. At the same time, I don't really compare notes with anybody. You know,
yeah, but you casually...
I don't live very lavish either. I live in Detroit, Michigan. I have, you know, a home in Malibu and a small place in Nashville, but, you know, I live pretty modestly. I've always said to my band and to people around me that I care about that work for me or whatever, live under your means. You know what I mean? And enjoy the little things in life that you don't have to get up and go to work every day on the daily 9-to-5 grind. You can afford to put as much gas in one of those 2 cars you got, you know, sitting out there and this, that, and the other, and really enjoy those little things. Because think back to when those little things were, you know, like climbing mountains in your mind.
When we return, Kid Rock on his big beef with Steven Tyler. Why did you think that he sold out by doing Idol?
How does GM accelerate? By designing, building, and selling the vehicles the world wants today and into the future. And by choosing the New York Stock Exchange to accelerate their business.
My name is Robin, and I was a pack-a-day smoker for 25 years. I do remember sitting down with my boys, but I'm like, oh, promise, Mommy, you'll never, ever pick up a cigarette. I had to quit. My doctor gave me a prescription for Chantix, a medication I could take and still smoke while it built up in my system.
Chantix is a non-nicotine pill proven to help people quit smoking. It reduces the urge to smoke. Some people had changes in behavior, thinking or mood, hostility, agitation, depressed mood, and suicidal thoughts or actions while taking or after stopping Chantix. If you notice any of these symptoms or behaviors, stop taking Chantix and call your doctor right away. Tell your doctor about any history of depression or other mental health problems, which could get worse while taking Chantix. If you develop serious allergic or skin reactions, stop taking Chantix and see your doctor right away, as some of these can be life-threatening. Don't take Chantix if you've had a serious allergic or skin reaction to it. Dosing may be different if you have kidney problems. Until you know how Chantix affects you, use caution when driving or operating machinery. Common side effects include nausea, trouble sleeping, and unusual dreams.
My Benjamin, he helped me with the countdown. Ben, how many days has it been? 5 days, Mom. 10 days, Mom. I think after 30 days, he got tired of counting.
Ask your doctor about Chantix. And now through March 31st, get a limited-time money-saving offer and see terms and conditions at Chantix.com.
Is Hollywood turning on President Obama? One star is.
I think he had that moment to do it, and he didn't do it.
Matt Damon's controversial sit-down with Piers. Tomorrow night, 9 Eastern.
Who's Anderson keeping honest tonight?
We're not trying to twist anyone's words. We're simply trying to get some basic questions answered.
Keeping them honest every night. AC 360.
A very wealthy U.S. citizen is predicting that in 2011, we will witness the most important day in America in more than 50 years. He says it will change everything about our lives. The way you shop, travel, invest, educate your children, and even how you take care of your health and your own family. Now, this man has made some outrageous predictions over the years, but here's the thing. He's usually right. You see, he predicted the collapse of GM, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and America's biggest mall owner. In fact, Barron's called his work a dire prophecy. Recently, he created a video, which you can watch online for free, detailing his biggest and most important prediction yet. And it's a real eye-opener. I can't stress this enough. You should at least watch this free video online today. He explains everything you need to know, including simple steps you can take to protect yourself. You can watch it for free right now by going to endofamerica2011.com. Again, that's endofamerica, the number 2011.com.
Murder in Mexico. What happened at Falcon Lake? CNN Sunday night, 8 Eastern.
And I don't want no one to cry, but tell them if I don't survive, I was born free. I was born free. I was born free.
The album Born Free is ripping up the charts. Tell me about it.
It's a record produced by a great friend of mine, Rick Rubin, who's done a lot of good records. Probably the most honest record I've done in terms of songwriting, with great musicians, taking it back to what the records I love to listen to as I grew up. Just honest guys in a room, great players, with no click tracks, no trickery, no wizardry, just in there making honest music, and it's the best I could do.
Is it the best you've done, do you think?
I think so, yes.
Are you an emotional guy?
Not really.
When was the last time you cried?
When I found out my dad had a heart attack.
And for you, obviously at the time you were riding high, everything's going great, and you get hit by this sort of hammer blow. What does that tell you when that sort of thing happens to you in your life, do you think?
Well, you care about somebody, care about your family deeply, and it brings you back to the same thing that I've always believed in, what's really important in life. I don't think I've ever really had a gray area there. I've always, you know, been thankful that I learned at a young age what really is important in life, and that is your family and friends. There's no question.
If you look back over your life and career, what would be the moment that you would replay again? If you knew you were going to die tomorrow, what would be the one thing you'd like to relive?
Jeez, I don't know. It might be something as simple as walking my son to school, seeing him in his little Carhartt, like, snowsuit, you know, all bundled up with the hat, you know, and, like, marching down to class with him, you know, me just starting to get famous, and people kind of knowing who I am, and then coming home after school. We lived in this very small house, and turning on MTV to see what number my video was, you know, being like, we're going to get a new house soon, you know. Stuff like that. Probably moments with him that we, you know, just shared together, you know, because he's kind of seen it all unfold, even though he was kind of, you know, he was probably 5 or 6, 7 years old when I started to really kind of gain some money and success and stuff. He saw enough down here to, probably the stuff we've experienced together. You know, we've both gone through a lot together.
How important to you is your credibility?
It depends to who.
Well, it's interesting, when I saw you attacking Steven Tyler, who, you know, and he's a friend of yours, but you criticised...
attacking Steven Tyler?
No, well, okay, let's rephrase that. When you were being pretty highly critical of his decision to do
somebody
American
asked me a
Idol.
question. What do you think about Tyler
And you
doing
were,
American Idol? I was like, I don't think it's a good move.
You were honest, but when you did that, it seemed to me you were sort of saying, you know, this is not the kind of thing a guy like him should do, because he's a bona fide rock star, great
In my
performer.
opinion, yes.
He said back that you were jealous.
That was funny. I was a little upset with that, actually. I just saw him recently, and I was like, that's as good as you could do. I'm like, I've followed your career for years. I'm not only your friend, I'm a fan. I was like, I expected so much more out of you. I go, I'm walking material. All you have to do is Google me. You know, you can come up with, you could rip me for days on anything. But
why did you think that he sold out by doing Idol?
I didn't even say sold out. I thought it was a bad move, because he's one of the most credible rock singers in American history. And I don't agree with the premise of that show. You know, I don't knock the kids who go on and try it, and I understand they want to be stars, but you know, I'm a believer you got to get some scars and you got to get some feel, and there's a certain path you got to take in life with anything you do. You know, before you own the garage, you got to learn how to sweep the floors. I believe that. I was taught that, and I think the worst thing in life is the biggest curse would be to be famous without any money, and I think that's what that show does to a lot of people. And I don't think he needs to be down there, you know. Telling kids if they can sing or not, you know, in teeny bopper land. You know, it's been said to me, too, and I've said this many times, and I'll tell you because it's kind of funny and true, that a buddy of mine gave me some crap about that. He's like, who do you think you are? There's 30 million people a week that watch that show, and you're on your high horse saying they can't use your songs, and you say it's no good. And I go, I'm not a mathematician, but the last time I checked, there's 300 million people in America, and I'd like to talk to the 270 million that don't watch that bullshit.
Your other big thing is about iTunes. You know, you're one of the very few, even the Beatles have cracked now, but you stand out now like a shaft of tough gold while all around is dulling. Why are you continuing to resist? What's the principle at stake here for you?
Well, it's very deep and it's very honest. I'm going to be very candid with you. I don't like being told what to do.
That I can believe.
I will say this, just so there's no no misconceptions. I'm not only a fan of Apple products, I have stock in the company. I think Steve Jobs has started one of the greatest American corporations, one of the greatest corporations in the world in the last 30 years, whatever it's been. And I appreciate the way he says, you know what, it's my company. You're going to sell your music for this amount of money. I'm going to run it the way I like it. And if you don't like it, screw off. I can relate to that. It's exactly how I run my companies.
But here's the irony of your position. Everyone thought you were mad, being obstinate, and yet I read a report very recently suggesting that you've made more money staying out of iTunes than you would have done if you'd gone into it.
I've made the record company a lot more money, yes. I've made myself a couple extra dollars, but I don't think anybody out there who wants their money back that doesn't like the album, you know, front to end. Come on, bring it back. But, you know, I just don't think that everything costs the same price. I think that's un-American. Everything is not the same price at any level. You know, there's things that hold value, and you put value on it by money. That's how our system works. I've said before, I said, well, just tell iTunes this. I'll be on iTunes, but I want to sell one of my songs, say one of my hit songs, Picture, that I have with Sheryl Crow. I want to sell that for 79 cents, and I want to give them 2 other songs for free. Now they're really confused. Like, you want to do it cheaper? Sure, why not? Let me make the deals. Let me figure out the packages I want to sell to my fans. Let's all be creative that way. You know, and at the end of the day, too, I've said this many times, I believe that if a product is that good, people will buy it. It's not about the convenience of it. You can just buy it at a click of a button. I mean, that hasn't done anything to help the state of music and the quality of music we're listening to at any level. I believe if they make the greatest lawnmower in the world, and the only place you can get it is Toledo, Ohio, and it's that great, people will travel to Toledo, Ohio to get that lawnmower.
Well, talking of things that you would travel a long way to get, this is a bottle of your badass lager. Now, I have to warn you, I'm a connoisseur of beer because I just bought a pub in London.
Hillbilly style.
Oh, go on, then. Is that what your lighter? Yeah. So this is the ultimate test for you because I just bought a pub in London.
Well, let me share one with you.
And I know my beer.
I can let you drink alone. What's your pub called?
The Handsome Cad in Kensington.
So
we're doing this together.
Cheers.
Rock. Thank you. Terrible. Kidding. Very nice. Cheers.
It's good. Nice talking with you.
And you. Tomorrow night, the interview that made the White House sit up and take notice. My sit down with Matt Damon. And on Monday, the man who revolutionized American television, Simon Cowell. Go on, good, bad, or good. Be Simon the critic. Be Simon the
I personally think it is a better show than last year. I genuinely do. I think what they've got is that it feels to me that they've got their energy back, that they're confident, they're competitive. And I said to everybody on my show, I said, if you think that Idol's going to be the same as last year, think again. They're going to be working 10 times as hard as I would. I think it's a good show. I mean, I can't really fault it. I mean, it's not the show I would make myself because that's why I moved from the show in the first place. I want to make something different. But for Idol, as I said, based on last year, I think it's better.
And now here's my colleague Anderson Cooper with AC360.
Good evening. Last night, we began with a reporter who'd escaped from the surrounded city of Zawiya. They said a massacre was taking place. Well, tonight, the deed is done. The city has fallen, and Gaddafi's forces are trying to hide evidence of what went on there and trying to hunt down those who fought them. The Libyan dictatorship is gaining ground tonight, not just in Zawiya, but in the east as well. And the dictator's son, confident and cool, now threatens to crush the opposition without mercy. The world continues to watch. NATO ministers who met today suggested that there isn't yet a good reason to act, saying there must be a, quote, demonstrable need. We have new video tonight that shows you just how fierce the fighting has become. First, I want to show you what it's like fighting in the streets of Misrata. The city still in opposition hands tonight, but surrounded. This is what it looked like Sunday under relentless pounding from Gaddafi's forces. handfuls of poorly armed opposition fighters, no match for Gaddafi's forces. This is a crowded city, Libya's third largest, packed with people with a war running through it, being fought without consideration for the lives of civilians, being fought with airstrikes and artillery fire, as I said, against poorly armed people without military training. Is this demonstrable need? As for Zawiya, new video as well. This is what it looked and sounded like as time was running out. A stream of prayers coming from loudspeakers. Gaddafi's artillery crews bombarding the town. Later, the silence speaks not of